Is there any comment that you could tell us?
Well, driving is fundamentally basically almost entirely vision neural nets. Basically, it's running on a biological vision neural net, and what we're doing here is a silicon camera neural net. So there is some amount of audio. You want to hear if there's like emergency vehicles, or I guess converse with the people in the car. If somebody's yelling something at the car, the car needs to understand what that is. So all the things that are necessary for it to be fully autonomous. Yeah. Thank you.
Hi, thank you for all the great work that you've shown. My question is for the team, because the data that was shown seems to be predominantly from the United States that the FSD computer is being trained on. But as it gets rolled out to different countries, which have their own road systems and challenges that come with it, how do you think that it's going to scale? Like I'm assuming like ground up is not a very viable solution. So how does it transfer to different countries?
Well, we actually do train on using data from probably like 50 different countries, but we have to pick, as we're trying to advance full self-driving, we need to pick one country, and since we're located here, we pick the US. And we get a lot of questions like, why not even Canada? Like, well, because the roads are a little different in Canada, different enough. And so when you're trying to solve a hard problem, you want to say like, okay, let's not add additional complexity right now. Let's just solve it for the US, and then we'll extrapolate to the rest of the world. But we do use video from all around the world.
Yeah. I think a lot of what we are building is very country agnostic. Fundamentally, all the computer vision components and so on don't care too much about the country-specific sort of features. Different countries have roads, and they have curbs, and they have cars, and everything we're building is fairly general for that.
Yeah, and then the prime directive is don't crash.
Right, and that's true for every country.
Yes, this is the prime directive. I mean, even right now, the car is pretty good at not crashing. And so just basically, whatever it is, don't hit it. Even if it's a UFO that crash landed on the highway, and still don't hit it. You should not need to recognize it in order to not hit it. That's very important.
And I want to ask that when you do the photometric process, multiview geometry, how much of an error do you see? Is it like 1 millimeter, 1 centimeter? So if it's not confidential.
Sorry, the question, what is the
what's the difference between the synthetic? What is the difference between the synthetically created geometry to the actual geometry?
Yeah, it's usually within a couple centimeters, 3 or 4 centimeters. That's the standard deviation.
But with different kind of modalities to bring down that error.
We primarily try to find scalable ways to label. In some occasions, we use other sensors to help benchmark, but we primarily try to use cameras for this system.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, I mean, I think we want to aim for the car to be positioned accurately to the sort of centimeter level. Something.
Obviously, it will depend on distance. Like close by things can be much more accurate than farther away things, and they would matter less because the car doesn't have to make decisions much farther away. And as it comes close, it will become more and more accurate.
Exactly. A lot of questions.
Thanks, everybody. My question has to do with sort of AI and manufacturing. It's been a while since